Hello, everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of the R Words podcast. In this pilot, we'll basically introduce ourselves. We'll talk a bit about why we started this podcast, and also we'll lay the ground rules for the game that we'll be playing throughout the episodes or throughout the series. So why don't you start off with introducing yourself?
My name is Marco. For me, I wanted to do a podcast because I think that it's fun to just yap, basically.
Nice.
And what better way to yap than on camera and share it with loads of people.
And then what are you studying? What are you doing here in the city of...
Timbuktu.
No, what are you studying? What are your hobbies?
I'm studying psychology. My hobbies include music. I play classical music. I also like listening to music, like most people nowadays. Also, video games whenever I have the time. Cooking as well. Yeah.
Cocaine?
Yeah. Why?
Cocaine?
Cocaine. Cooking cocaine.
And what is your ethnical background, just to get that out there? Pronouns?
Pronouns non-existent. Half Irish, half Italian. More leaning towards Irish in terms of feeling though. Because I grew up mostly in Ireland, so I would say, if someone was to ask me, I always find this difficult, right? Without going off on too much of a tangent. When someone asks you where you're from, do you say strictly, genetically, if your parents are Italian and Irish, like mine, I'm half Irish, half Italian? Or do you say, I am Irish, in my case, because I lived in Ireland for most of my life? Or do you say what you feel?
I think it has to do with where you grew up. I think more. I think it depends per person.
Also per culture, right? Because more Eastern cultures define themselves more in terms of their families and communities, right? It's more collectivist.
And I also think a lot of people that maybe they're from Africa, they grew up in Netherlands and have lived here for the entirety of their life. And they ask people where are you from? And they say Netherlands. And then the next question comes no, where are you actually from? And that's not, so I think that's nice. Wow. My name is Marijn and I'm from the south of the Netherlands. I study math and education, and my hobbies include a lot of things. I used to be a dancer, now setting up a clothing brand. I like arts. I like sports, mainly American football. Big fan of the Eagles. What else? I like to yap a lot as well during work.
Hence the podcast.
The podcast, yeah. And another thing that connects us is that we're both service people. We work in hospitality.
For people who don't know, service people doesn't mean any other weird stuff.
We're not an army. No, it's just it's kind of a sort of like a work/hobby thing. I think we both have plenty of years in the service industry already, that we have a reason to talk about stuff within the service industry. So that also brings us to how did we get to know each other, basically.
True. Yeah.
It's at the restaurant that we both work at. I started working there 5 years ago, and Marco a little bit less than a year maybe.
Yeah, coming up on a year.
Yeah, coming up on a year. And I think the first shift that we had together, it was already I knew right away this is gonna be a fun coworker. And then we hung out somewhere in the beginning of summer, I think, last year.
When the Euros were on.
Yeah, when the Euros were on, we're just, we watched some games. And then I think you invited me to come sit on the terrace for some evenings. And then we had some interesting talks about, I would say, kind of intellectual stuff that I normally never talk about with other people. And there was always some sort of like funny note to it in the end, or like we would have like quite a intellectual thought process. And then after 5 minutes, someone would make a dumbass joke and we just start riffing off of each other. And yeah, I think that's basically why this podcast is a thing now. It is that we had some interesting talks for like 3 hours. And I think a month ago, I was listening to this podcast and I just sent Marco the idea saying like, we could easily do this and make it some sort of like funny or interesting for other people to listen to. And then we just created a little thing around it just to make it not just a podcast. Maybe you want to...
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I think because, well, we knew at least that we found our conversations interesting.
It would be weird if we wouldn't.
yeah, true. And funny. So we were like, yeah, why not share this with others? In terms of what you were getting at, we also thought it would be a nice idea. This whilst having a typical podcast and yapping basically throughout the episode, we would also have a sort of mini game where basically at the start of each episode
God damn, bro.
I know, man, if people can't tell,
16
my voice is fucked on the first day, of course, somehow, but anyway, yeah, so we decided to do a mini game of sorts, where at the start of each episode, we both, unbeknownst to the other person, get given a randomly generated word that starts with an R, hence the name, right? For no other reason. Hence the name. And so we both get a word beginning with R, and throughout the episode, the other person doesn't know the word, as I said. Throughout the episode, you need to try and incorporate this one word into what you're saying 3 times. And if you manage to do this without the other person noticing, you would win, or you get a point, right? It's possible for both people to do this. Where it gets more difficult is that we also have, decided to put a system in play where you can challenge the other person. Let's say you've heard someone use the word, I don't know, recklessness twice, right? And you're like, what the fuck? And so you can challenge them and say, hey, is your word recklessness? If it is, the person cannot get a point anymore. They can still challenge you and stop you from getting a point, but they can't get a point anymore. Do you want to explain things like the grace period and things like this?
What I want to, maybe this is not clear between us two yet, but I think also there is either a winner of an episode or there's no winner. So like it's about the first person that gets his random word like 3 times. So if I said my recklessness 3 times in an episode, if I after I said it the 3rd time, I think it'll be like a minute, something around like a minute, still like time for the other person to still like
this grace period. Yeah.
Grace period, basically. And if after that minute it wasn't challenged and I said my recklessness 3 times, then
and I didn't notice, then you get the point.
And then you would win. Saying like, okay, that was my word. That's the episode. Yeah,
I just realized before we said both people could get a point, but then we realized that, only one person would win.
Yeah. So like one person, it's either you win the episode and you get a point added to your scoreboard, or none of us wins, and that just creates like a fun scoreboard thing. And it also makes it fun for the other person to still at least try to get something out of the episode. And then also I think what we'd like to do is do like the first season, so the first actual competition, I would say, would be like the first 25 episodes maybe. So then in the end, after 25 episodes, we have an actual winner of season 1. 25 because it would be like roughly half a year if you look at like weeks, because we'll upload weekly. So then 25 weeks, you have full years, 52 weeks. There's like 2 weeks of vacation.
Numbers might be subject to change a little bit, but yeah.
But like just, so grace period, you said, right?
This is what we were saying, that after you say your word for the third time, if the other person doesn't call you out within the next, let's say, I think 30 seconds or something like this, fine, we can work this out, see how it plays.
Also, we're not going to do like a VAR on this.
No. Then you would win.
Yeah.
So to recap, if I was a 5-year-old...
Explain to me, I'm a 5-year-old.
For all of our five-year-old listeners out there.
Exactly.
So we both get given a random word beginning with R. We don't know the other person's word. We have to try and use our word 3 times without the other person noticing. We can challenge the other person once. If they get challenged, they cannot win anymore. However, they can still challenge you and stop you from winning. So at the end of every episode, either one person will have a point added to their tally for the season, or neither of us will get one.
Exactly.
The rules might fluctuate a bit. We might add more, take away some, depending on how we feel it goes, but also you guys, depending on whether you think it's shit or you like it or some things you prefer. So let us know.
Yeah.
And this is the starting framework anyway. So
yeah. So what I was going to say something adding to what you're saying. And obviously as a podcaster, I already forgot what I wanted to say. Shit, man. I think maybe like we'll try to record every Sunday. We'll try to upload every Wednesday, I think, right?
At least by Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, by Wednesday, kind of like that. So then you guys know there's like a 3-day delay if there's anything going on. Like for instance, we talk on Sunday about how Trump is the worst president, and then all of a sudden on Monday he gets killed, and then on Wednesday you hear us say that he's the worst president, and then everyone's like, "Oh, guys, you're so stupid. He's already dead." You know, that kind of stuff.
And then the next Sunday we say he's the best president. Yeah.
I don't think that episode will ever see the daylight. What I thought would be fun is if we actually also speak out some goals in existence, like some manifestation stuff. What I'm trying to get to is like maybe people that we would like to like collab with in this podcast.
Okay.
I have this one particular guy in mind that we both would love.
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
You don't know?
Who's that?
You have no clue, or actually?
Yeah, is it a football player?
Oh shit! Yeah. That was also someone I was thinking about, but I think maybe I think the football player. Like I would love to have any football player, like American football player, specifically Eagles, on the podcast. I mean, gotta manifest. But there's one person that would be, I think, a step closer towards us and like easier to get on the podcast. Who we both we used to quote him like almost every day. It's a more niche thing. During the games, you have no clue?
No.
He makes the mozzarella fresh in the bag.
Oh, shit. Yeah, bro. How did I forget? So, I don't know if... He's been doing the rounds now. He's pretty popular.
I think he's popular, but it's not American football popular, I think.
Yeah, but like, okay, some people might know. There's this guy. Well, this guy. There's the guy.
The guy, Jules, from Crispy Pizza.
Crispy Pizza, yeah. Who awed us by his pizza making ability and way of words. And this would be a ridiculous collab, which we would love to do in the future.
Insane. And I mean, Marco, being half Italian, he would be able to speak fluently with Jules because he's also 1/16 Italian. And we would love to teach or be able to learn how to make the pinwheels, the Bianco pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Find out if the mozzarella store-bought. Oh yeah. So we would love, we want to speak that in existence, saying like at one moment in time when you guys see the episode featuring Jules, just know that it all started here.
Yeah.
And we would travel to where is it, like New York, I think he has a
probably
I think he has like 4 stores.
Yeah,
something like Philadelphia, New York, maybe more like Washington as well. We just have to figure out where he's at, and then we would definitely head over there to New York to be in his pizza, get like what was it, pizza in the house? So he said like a pizza for the house.
Yeah, maybe
for the staff, and then I think that would be a fun. I think if we get to that episode, I have this like we made it kind
You're accomplished.
Yeah, exactly.
For anyone who might not know, yeah, there's this guy. There's this channel called Crispy Pizza. You can look him up on most socials, and they do shorts like many people nowadays. And there's this one of the workers there called Jules, who will make a pizza whilst talking about what he's making, things like this. And we 100%. Both find it very entertaining. So if you haven't already heard of him, check them out online, and maybe you'll see why we
adore this guy.
Whoa. So yeah, this might be one, right?
Yeah, this one might be one. So a football player might be one, and then something else. I don't know, maybe like other podcasters. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm now watching the Nevermind podcast. Will be funny. I don't know. Just.
I would like to get someone from the intellectual world, if that makes sense.
Dalai Lama.
Yeah. No, like sure. I don't know, someone.
Elon.
No, like someone
Zuckerberg.
Someone from
we can have a reptilian.
The scientific community. You know what I mean? Like now I feel like there's a lot more well, obviously I'm incredibly biased with the field of psychology.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more people in psychology now that are going into like pop psychology, still rooted in science. Well, at least hopefully. That are going down the podcast route. There's people like Andrew Huberman, you might have heard of. Have you heard of this guy?
Isn't that like the Dr. Huberman guy?
Yeah. He's become quite popular recently. There's a couple of others, but yeah, also anyone from more, I don't know, even philosophical point of view. But I think people like this would also be interesting. They'd create a good discussion as well.
What would be funny if like we bring out these people to the podcast, they have no idea what we're doing, so then we just do our game while they have their like intellectual speak, and just like they're like imagine just they're sitting like in the middle, and he's just like having a full-on dialogue, and we're just sitting there. Yeah. Oh, that's fucking rambunctious. And then I just see you looking at me like, fuck are you doing, bro?
And then I'm like, oh wait, you is this your word? And the guys are like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Yeah,
or we get lost in the sauce and the guy uses the word red twice and we're like, is he in on it?
I'm gonna challenge your word. Yeah, so that would be fun. So anything else we have to throw in this pilot episode? I
don't think so.
We have a Instagram, we have a TikTok, we have a YouTube channel. In every episode we'll have to say like, subscribe, and leave a nice comment.
A mean comment. If you don't like something, let us know. We can use it to improve.
Yeah, feedback.
All feedback is welcome.
Exactly.
In the end of the day, we want to make it pleasurable for all of you guys out there to listen to, as well as us, because of course we already like yapping. So
yeah.
But in order to make it also pleasurable for you, we need to get feedback. So yeah.
And then I think topic-wise, it can go anywhere. Like we have such a wide range of knowledge, just like interest, I would say. Also a little bit knowledge, I would say, that we could literally talk about. One day we could talk about being a old school going like out of fashion or something like that, or we could talk about fucking Euros, a World Cup coming up or something like that. Sports.
Yeah, it's pretty flexible.
So yeah, we could talk about anything. If you have any controversial topics that you want us to talk about, fucking throw it in the comments.
Let us know,
and we'll do it.
Don't worry, we'll do it.
We are not afraid of getting. No, just kidding. We're not afraid of getting cancelled. We are. We're still two white boys. So. I think for this pilot episode, we can wrap it up, right?
In general, it should be pretty chill podcast. A healthy mix of intelligence not so intelligent,
Exactly.
brain deadness, comedy, and yeah, generally just talking with each other about topical things, random ideas we might have, or potential musings on the world.
Nice. So I think we'll wrap this pilot episode up for this one. After this pilot, we're gonna directly go into our first actual episode. So if you see us in the same clothes, that's because yes, we are actually,
because we're dirty and we never change clothes.
Exactly, we work in the service, so we have no time to do our laundry. So we're gonna go directly in that one, and we'll see you guys in that one as well, hopefully. So see you guys.
Peace. Have a good one.
Peace.